said that they had multiple children. But
we're recording. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, we should have been rolling through that. That's a good conversation.
I just thought, I'm like, why aren't we just sitting here talking?
Yeah, we're sitting here just doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some interesting stories, you know. And dream logic, who knows, man? You know,
well,
I like to dissect my dreams, and, you know, a lot of times in
the Bible, they say there's significance.
Yeah.
Dreams, right?
Mm-hmm. I kind of wondered sometimes, often, if it's when you're sleeping, that's when you're quiet. You're not distracted by everything, you know. Mm-hmm. And maybe you're picking up that wave that, you know, through the day and the normal grind of everything, you don't hear it. But when you quiet your mind down, you know, you hear it, and that's why you dream the way you do. I don't know. I gotta think that there's something to it, though, more to it than just a goofy dream. I have those too. Don't get me wrong. You know, everyone has like goofy ass dreams, but some of them, like I said, they just, you know, when you wake up, like I'm supposed to extract something from this. There's a message in this for me. You know.
It's weird though that I texted you the other day and I was like, I wonder why I noticed I'm starting to feel.
Yeah.
In my dreams, like actually, like feel things with my hands, like that wolf dream. I still remember feeling the teeth on that wolf with my hands. I could feel its hot breath, like humid, warm breath,
maybe
coming across my fingers.
You're
like
dialing into it better, you know.
You know what I'm saying though? Like I used to think that was a separation. You know, when you're in a dream, you don't smell things, you know, you don't taste things, you don't feel things, you know, you're just kind of observing for the most part. So then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm feeling stuff in my dreams. Hot, cold, wet, dry, sharp. So what does that mean?
I would think maybe you're just getting more in tune with your dream, and that in your dream status, you know, you're more in tune with it. I don't know. They're changing for me. Like, you know, I told you now I'm getting where I can read in my dreams. Never in my life could I read full words. Like I might know that it says something, but you couldn't actually, like, when you would wake up and think about it, like really say that you've seen the letters laid out for you or nothing. And now,
once we're done with this, I'll tell you about my dream from last night, and it has to do with reading too, which is interesting. You said that also, because
So, what else do you want to get into?
Did you see this? Did you see this plane crash?
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man, there's a rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah. Right. Like, so some people, this was being claimed that they were headed to the train derailment.
Right.
It's just funny they were leaving Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, let me guess, he committed suicide, right? You know?
And they were headed to another disaster just 60 miles away from this one.
Wow.
But they weren't going to that. It's like, okay, they weren't going to that. Had they been there, though?
Yeah, had they been there? I'd like to know. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so 5 environmental scientists died in a plane crash headed to a disaster in, where was it? Cleveland suburbs. Yeah. So 60 miles away from the train wreck in East Palestine.
Not very far away. Almost chuck a beer bottle that far.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like how they fact check, you know.
Yeah.
Misinformation about the train derailment has spread widely online.
Yeah. I'm so sick of that word, misinformation. Like that's crazy. I'm gonna have to dig into that. This fact check
just blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah.
So the government, like here it says, they're misrepresenting people living in the Ohio River Basin should be concerned safety, drinking water, fountains, and while others have falsely claimed that a new draft government vinyl chloride report was suspiciously edited to omit. But I'd like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see the report.
Yeah.
Because these
I think I sent a video yesterday on that with a bunch of independent studies that are saying, whoa, no, this water is terrible, like toxic. These people need to be evacuated out of there right now.
We need to look at also, because I had heard, I'll go to, about,
and it was a pretty good, it was a pretty good video.
People finding dead animals now.
Yeah. Oh, that don't surprise me at all. Because we talked about that. Like, yeah, okay, we seen the Libby with her backyard chicken farm,
right,
and her dead chickens. But what happens when people are in the woods and you start seeing, dead deer and turkeys and, the blue jays are falling out of the sky and, someone goes out to feed and water their dog and their dog's dead. Their cat came in the house and died. Like,
yeah, I hadn't heard that.
I don't think we are. Yeah, wow.
This
doesn't surprise me at all.
I haven't seen this video, so.
So we found 3 dead deer here, right next to Little Beaver Creek, which runs directly from East Palestine, Ohio. This one seems to be quite young. No obvious signs of attack by a predator, and no sign of bullet wounds either. These deer are all within 20 yards of each other, so I'm going to leave the camera rolling while I run to the other one.
And I don't know who,
Well, they're going to say chronic wasting disease. That's why they were by the water.
Same thing here. We've got a buck this time. No signs of attack by a predator.
He looks like he's been dead a little while. The only problem is eyeballs.
Keep in mind, Little Beaver Creek, running directly from East Palestine. We're in a public park, and people kayak with their families down after launching in East Palestine.
For a little while, there was some hair already shed on the ground.
And then they exit right here.
The eyeball was gone.
Little Beaver Creek runs directly into the Ohio River.
Disintegrating this deer. By now, that would have been.
And here's our third.
Another buck.
Wow, man.
Same thing again. Repeating myself. No signs of attack by a predator.
I don't know. I just heard something about it.
Heard that one.
Well, they could hear the audio. Yeah, I just heard about that one in the last couple of days.
Put up so they could see the video. Wow, that's crazy. But we said that 2 weeks ago. That wait till they start finding all the dead animals out in the woods, and that's a good indicator because those are the things that are drinking the water down there. And I don't know. I feel bad for anyone that's in that area. Like I
said, I hadn't. I just heard about that today, and we did show the chicken video.
Yeah.
Last podcast.
Yeah, I think it was
2 ago, something like that. The lady that had dead chickens in her backyard, and you had said something about some other animals dying.
Yeah.
And
But the video I watched yesterday was a real serious, independent study on the water quality, the contamination, and their takeaway from it, their findings was to evacuate everybody out of that area, that it is absolutely dangerous, and the flaws that they used in the original studies. So the report I got was that a lot of the studies are being coordinated and controlled from the train company itself, which I think you need independent studies, which the one I watched yesterday was. I don't know. It sounds bad. Like, I'm not a scientist. I don't know for sure. I just know that, media's dishonest. That we've seen enough of. That's been demonstrated a lot. I don't trust the stories that we've been given, so I would like to see independent studies being done. Let's see. Let the information be
Where
known,
the independent studies get their money from, though, is the
Yeah,
problem,
that's the problem.
right?
Yeah.
Because if there's any influence with money, how that
Then
goes,
you're,
right?
you're beholden to,
Right.
the person holding
We
the
see
purse.
that with
So
we see that with corporate media,
Exactly.
right? And
Yep.
pharmaceutical companies, right?
Yeah. Because
They-
even if they're working off government grants, like
Right.
they
They don't want to lose their funding, right?
Yeah, if they're still beholden to whatever administration is in office at that point and what they want the narrative to be, right? So that they could swing it either, kind of left wing or right wing, depending on who's in office.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's sad. Like I really, really feel bad for anyone that's stuck in that area. That has to be just terrifying, just scary, because
You can't burn off that much. I don't care if it was firewood or coal. You could not burn that much shit off
no.
in that size of an area and have it not have zero effect.
Right. I've seen some new videos of it while
Even
they were
smoke
burning it.
inhalation, people, right?
Yeah.
Like have to go to the hospital for smoke inhalation, firefighters, right?
Right.
There is some kind of impact. To tell
Yeah,
me that
it's-
everything is perfectly fine
Yeah, it's
after
gonna
you
have
see
an
those
impact.
images.
And I watched a new video with some new footage that I hadn't seen before. Someone on the ground where they were burning it, and they panned from the burn site back across the horizon. And I mean, this thing was the pictures we used were little compared to how big this cloud of contaminated air was. It was just ginormous, and it went as far as the eye could see. It looked like, because this was from the ground looking at it, it looked like a big giant storm cloud coming towards you. And it really put it in perspective to me just how big and how much contaminated air potentially there was there. Like, I don't know, man. All I can say is if it was me, I would be like getting out of that area right now.
Yeah, but you know how it is, right?
I know,
Like,
it's hard. You know what I mean? You got bills, you got
well,
obligations. People got to work.
well, I mean, a lot of people just don't have the freedom just to,
Or
because
right, or a place to
financially,
go,
yeah.
family to go stay with or something. But man, if you could get out of there, like, go. I actually think it was in one of the videos that I sent you. I think it showed.
I just wanted to see if,
and it was amazing. Like, it was just as many pictures and videos as I've watched of this, that was like the one that really kind of grabbed me at how big this actually was.
right now we're watching drone footage of this
Yeah,
thing.
of the plume starting. Yeah, there's one that's like all that darkness you see.
Yeah, all this
and
out
then-
here. Yeah.
Then they pan the
That's
video
all.
that I watched yesterday, and it went for just, it looked like 100 miles long. It was crazy. It was breathtaking. Like, it shocked me.
Did you see what they're doing with the wreckage now?
What? No.
Oh man, let me back up here a little bit and I know people are sitting there going, get to it.
Yeah. I would imagine they're trying to get that shit out of there as fast as they can before, anyone has a chance to
Yeah.
really go through it.
Let's see if. There you go. There's your independent lab testing. The headline says independent lab testing finds elevated levels of chemical of concern in air.
And the one that I watched yesterday, they were talking about how many different chemicals there actually was, because when you're listening to the reports or all these conversations, they're talking about 2 or 3 of the main chemicals, but there was a ton of different chemicals that was released in this.
Yeah, it says approximately 3.2 million gallons of liquid waste and about 1,700 tons of solid waste have already been removed from the derailment site.
Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. We've seen this before.
I just want to find. I heard they're moving it to another state, and those residents weren't happy.
Hell no. I wouldn't want that, brought into my state.
But I don't want to, try to be transparent as possible. I don't want people. Shoot. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it was right.
Moving it to India.
Yeah, they're moving. Yeah, it looks like Rochdale, Indiana. They're moving that shit to a landfill.
Wow. Yeah. Let's get it out of there and bury it up before people really
in
start
Indiana.
looking at this. Man, I don't know. Hey,
this landfill is located 7 miles outside of a town, so
it's
what's being sent?
right. I'm sure it won't contaminate the water there or anything. That's scary. It just, like I said, my heart's broke for anyone who's still there, who's stuck there. They said that the video I was watching yesterday, like they completely botched this. They gave people a text message and gave them a 5-minute warning before that burn.
Look at that. Look at that. After concerns were raised on where the hazardous waste was going, towns in Michigan and Texas complained they didn't want to receive notice. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency paused shipments. I read that wrong, didn't I? After they were raised. Towns in Michigan and Texas complained they didn't receive notice. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency paused the shipment. So they were planning on sending it to Michigan without notice?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, they said that people they got text messages. You have 5 minutes to shelter in place for the controlled burn before they lit it up. And they were like, really? So there's a mom walking her baby in a stroller, on some nature trail has 5 minutes now to it was impossible for people to get prepared for this before they lit it up. And then they didn't tell people like to shelter in place, how to shelter, to close their windows, to shut their HVAC systems off so you're not drawing the air in and bringing it into your home. A lot of people didn't know not only how to do it. This could have been handled a hell of a lot better. So, but here in Michigan, you can't drink the water in Flint, right?
Yeah,
I've heard them complain about that on Tim Pool, Timcast, like the pipes, the lead in the pipes, and still can't get that shit fixed. But hey, what'd you think about all that going on? And then our glorious president flying to the Ukraine to kiss some ass and give him another $50 million or 500 million, whatever.
Yeah, the optics definitely look bad, right? Like, no doubt. Like, it's not. It doesn't look good.
No.
Right.
It looked very uncaring and dismissive.
Yeah. You would think that they would shift the priority, postpone that trip, be like, hey, we should address this.
Yeah, we have our own disaster going on here that's affecting our people we need to deal with first.
And then they go at Trump for going down there
And giving them McDonald's.
and saying it was all a
photo
PR
op,
thing. It was all, photo op. And it's like,
So what? He was
he still
helping
took
people.
water and
Yeah.
food. Like, I get he's a narcissist.
Sure.
I get it. Like,
But at least he cares about the people.
well, I don't even, whatever his motivations were, he still took food and water there. He still did something, right?
Like Tim Pool broke it down. Even if it was, look, I want to look good, so I got to do good things for the American people. That is care. Regardless of what the motivation is, it was care towards the American people versus,
That was my point.
Yeah.
He still showed up with water and food.
Versus some guy that fell up the stairs to getting on the plane because he couldn't get to the Ukraine fast enough.
I hope with his deep pockets, he gave a bunch of money there too.
I hope so. What was it, Benny, that he has his own podcast? He gave
I heard someone went down there.
$20,000 away, man. Like,
I would hope
he was helping. Benny Johnson, is it?
I don't know.
I think so. I watch his podcast sometimes.
I'd heard something about that.
Yeah.
But I would hope as deep as Trump's pockets were, that he should have been able to raise enough money through wealthy donors. Be like, hey, I'm going to East Palestine.
We got to get some of these people out of here.
Let's pull up 5 or 10 million and
start relocating people.
Right.
You know.
Well, at least just give them money and let them, decide what they want to do. You know? You give someone, $10,000-$15,000. It gives them at least a couple months to
be able to get a room somewhere and
make some decisions.
Yeah, give them a little flexibility to figure out what.
When you only have $1,000 in the bank, it's really tough to go, let's uproot and just drive north or south or whatever.
Right. It's just some of them people don't have cars. Like they can't.
That's what I'm saying.
They can't get out of there. So
I
it's heartbreaking. Disgusting how our government treated it. Like I just couldn't believe it. It made me sick. I could. You know what? The sad thing was I could believe it, and I think that's why it really made me sick. Like it wasn't even surprising.
That's why I said the optics of flying to Ukraine and giving them $500 million or whatever they gave them when there's people there suffering in your own country. It's like
can't wait to get there fast enough to
You should probably reassess.
Start getting that money laundering scheme going a little faster, right? Like, let's get into the Ukraine and funnel it back here into someone's pocket. No accountability at all. It's just, this whole thing is disgusting. My heart is broken for the people that live in that area. Like, I can't
imagine.
I couldn't even imagine.
Just feel like nobody gives two shits. Like you're just on your own. Like figure it out.
And I guess there's channels, survivalist, preppers, say whatever you want to call them, but some of them are pretty solid channels, decent people, and they tell you, man, when no one's coming to help, you have to know when this shit happens, like you got to be able to take care of yourself.
Unfortunately, unless it politically benefits whoever is in power at the time, right? If they feel like it's a political benefit to them.
Yeah. Say what you want about Trump. I'm not a huge Trump fan by any measure, but there is not a cell in my body that believes, had this happened while he was president, that he wouldn't have been there right away. Like, I believe he would have. I think he would have canceled the trip and, gotten Air Force 2 or whatever they call the helicopter there, and let's
Marine
fly.
One.
Yeah, Marine One. Yeah, let's fly over and let's see what's going on here. I don't know. Sad.
Well, then you got the president of Ukraine,
Zelensky. Yeah.
What did he say the other day? Something about American sons and daughters need to go die in Europe?
It was kind of weird the way he said it, and there is a couple different ways that you could
See
take
if we
it.
can
But
find-
what it sounded like to me was basically threatening us that we need to keep helping, because if we pull back, the war will expand, and then we're going to be sending our children, our boys and girls over there to fight and die like they are doing right now. So in other words, if you don't want your children over here fighting this war and dying in the Ukraine, then keep sending the money, the planes, the tanks, the missiles, the radar systems. It was bullshit.
It sounds like that kind of talk is exactly.
Kick them off the teat. You know what? You want your country sovereign? Then fucking fight it.
So this is going to be interesting to try to find, because it looks like every corporate media outlet has fact checked it, and
Yeah.
I trust their fact checks
Right.
about as much as I trust the neighbor's pit
Because
bull.
at first it was kind of made out like,
I want to see exactly what he said.
yeah.
So he did it in a tweet.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. Definitely,
Okay, so I'm confused here.
definitely was a threat.
There's a speech right there.
You got it. Oh yeah,
Right
it
here.
was a speech. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it
Right,
was speech,
yeah,
whatever
no,
it was. I
think
don't
it
know.
was a
I
speech
just
that I watched. I can't remember whether I read it or listened. I think it was. I listened to it. I think it was a speech, but
Oh, okay. What am I missing here? The out of context 19-second video has been viewed millions of times on Twitter. It features a clip of Zelensky speaking at a news conference last week as an interpreter translates his words into English as follows. The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war. And they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about. And they will be dying, God forbid, because it's a horrible thing.
that's what I heard.
What am I missing?
So
Where's the
basically,
fact check? Okay, here's the fact
Yeah.
check. Oh, so because he didn't say they will have to fight in Ukraine?
right. Yeah, because then there's he didn't mean in the Ukraine.
Well,
Or whatever, but, yeah.
okay, so the fact check wasn't that he didn't say that American sons and daughters have to go fight somewhere in Europe?
Right. No,
And die?
they can't even deny it because it's on video. Like he's saying it outright. So, but I think the confusion was I think what he was trying to say was because once the war, if we don't keep taking care of this proxy war, then if this war evolves anymore, it's going to involve NATO, and once it involves NATO, then we are duty bound to send our treasure to Europe, to whether he meant the Ukraine or Poland.
Okay. But I see what they're interpreting here.
Right.
Right here, right? Mm-hmm. I see what they're interpreting.
Right. But the fact check
But-
itself was, that's what he said.
What does this say right here?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
They're trying to
They're trying to downplay it and kind of just sweep it under the
sickening.
rug.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
Like,
Look, I got boys that are fighting age. I don't want them going over there and
Right.
dying in this shit so that so Hunter Biden can buy more fucking crack cocaine and a couple more hookers.
do you ever notice
know,
the
like-
elites? Their kids do
Never
not
go.
die in war. They
Fuck-
do not.
Fuck Lindsey Graham. He's been calling about, we need to assassinate Putin. I say give that fucking guy an M16 and drop his ass over there and let him fight. You care about the Ukraine so goddamn much. You want my fucking kids to die in this. Send your own fucking kids over there.
That's
Pick
my
up the
point. That's
rifle,
what-
put the little pin on your lapel, and drag your ass over there and fight it yourself then. If it's that fucking important to you.
That's-
Sorry. Man, I
No,
don't
it has
want
to
my
be-
kids.
it has to be said.
I please, God, do not let them broaden this war. I don't want my children dying over there for fucking elitist profits. And that's what it is. It's a bullshit war.
You don't hear Lindsey Graham's kids, nieces and nephews
getting their fucking legs blown off in Iraq on landmines or IEDs.
Working class, right?
Yep. It's always us.
Common folk that have to go, right?
Don't shoot His Majesty's deer. That belongs to His Majesty. You got to pay for the, yeah. This is where I get really liberal. Or what liberal used to be, before it was whatever perversion of it is now. But yeah,
people need to understand that.
This is bad.
And someone said, well, there won't be conscription. They won't be drafted. Okay, maybe not, but somebody's son and daughter.
There's still going to be American kids getting fucking blown up over there.
Right. Even if there is no conscription. Right. But remember, in Ukraine, 16 to 60, you couldn't leave the country, pick up a gun.
Yep. They had men dressing up as women trying to sneak out of the fucking country. So, and tell me right now, the reports I've read and the way I understand it is recruitment in our military is at an all-time low. This could blow up into World War III. We're very close to, we're at the precipice. We're very close to rolling this over into a bigger conflict. And you're telling me that they're not going to institute a draft?
That kind of rhetoric doesn't help any, right? And then Russia did something with a nuclear treaty the other day?
Yeah, they pulled out of it. The first time since 1972, we have no arms treaty with Russia now. This is going bad. Anyone that doesn't believe it, man, you are blind, deaf, or dumb. I don't know what to tell you. Watch what's happening. This is being escalated. There's money in war. I hate to say it, man, but war is profitable, and I don't want my kids getting shot and blown up for nothing. You know what I mean? If my kids were in the military and they were fighting for American freedom and I get it, I'd be goddamn proud of them, but to go over and fight for this, no one can even tell you what the war's about, how it's going to end, what the end game strategy is, what's our goals in this, where the money's going. There's not any answers coming out of there except this dickhead Zelensky in his fucking jogging suit, like one of the Sopranos, saying, give me more money. Give me more money or your kids are going to die over here. Man, it just, that triggered me. Sorry. I'm scared. As a father, I am scared to death right now for my children. And you know what? It's not even boys, because if people can slow down and think back, a year ago, 2 years ago, when they were debating again, females and the women. I'm going to say women. That's the definition I choose to use in the military, that they could be drafted. So and I think it was probably because they knew recruitment was so low. You don't have enough young men to fight these wars now. Now they're going to draft girls too. So you're going to send a 19-year-old little girl over there. That's what America's turned into for someone else's bullshit. For something that all these people that screaming that they got their little Ukraine flag on their Facebook fucking profile picture, and you go, okay, where's it at on a map? Oh, I don't know.
But regardless, do you even know why they have that flag?
Why are you there?
Because what? The corporate media industrial complex told them to?
Yep, because fucking Amazon and Walmart told you to. As bad as I was watching the interview with Pete Parada. Do you see that on Tim Pool? It was great, man. It was really good. And you start thinking of the Offspring. For context, this is the ex-drummer of the punk band Offspring, and he had been in the band for 14 years. COVID happened. Everyone needed to get vaccinated. He had a medical exemption from his doctor that it was dangerous.
Right?
No, it was... I can't remember the name of it, but
I know what you mean.
And he was at risk. He couldn't. It was very risky for him to take the vaccine, so he had a medical exemption, and the Offspring pretty much said, "Well, fuck you," and they fired him. After 14 years of service, goodbye, thank you, you're out.
Way to be punk rock, huh?
Yeah,
And stand
and
up
it
against
was, yeah,
authority,
you know what I
right?
mean? These were the guys that, what happened to Rage Against the Machine? And where are all these guys that were like, you know, the Twisted Sister, we're not gonna take it. You know, come on. They're all just, they're on the corporate tee. You know, brought to you by Pfizer. It just sickens me. Just, I don't want my kids blown up for this shit. I don't want my kids blown up at all, but you know, if they're gonna fight a war, not because of that, not because of a war that no one can even tell me why in the fuck we're there.
Right. Well, because Russia invaded.
Yeah. So why are we there? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. They say, well, Russia invaded, but why are we there? Strategically, what does it do for our country? You know, I told you a long time ago when this was kicking off and we were doing our early podcast, and I'm like, what'd Russia ever do wrong to me? You know, I like vodka, you know, like...
Yeah, well,
I get it. The government's a little
treaty
hostile
there, right?
to us, right? Like, you know, I just, on the way here, I was listening to a podcast of all the different cyber attacks that we're being bombarded with right now that can be traced back to Russia. But, you know, I don't know. These people that are all waving the Ukrainian flag, like, wait till the EMP happens or the virus hits and knocks out not only the internet, but your electricity, our power grid, and tell me how important the Ukraine is then.
I want to hear how this is pronounced.
Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yeah. Yep.
Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yeah, I knew
And it was a side effect from the vax. Like,
well,
he was
possible
at risk.
interaction.
He was at risk for it, right?
Possible interaction,
Yeah.
right?
Not everybody has this potential, but he does. So he had a medical exemption, and they fired him. Instead of just like, hey, okay, well, stay home. We're gonna have this other drummer fill in while we're in these countries, and you know, but don't worry, you're with us. No, they outright just fuck you and fired him. And this is a band like I like how Tim Pool put it, man. Like this guy's got fuck you money. You know, this band. They could have stood up against this and survived it. But they expect, you know, a nurse making $60,000 a year to be the one to speak up against the injustice that's being done. Like, it's sad. Where all these people that were supposed to be leaders and, like, you know, where's the rebels at? I just blows my mind, man. You know, corporate. It's all big corporate bullshit. You know, here, what is that? An advertisement for the Women's Month?
No.
That got hijacked?
No, it was AOC at the Met Gala.
AOC.
Wearing a tax the rich gown.
Tax the rich. I'm sure she's
To an event,
right in line.
that was like I don't know, how much is Met Gala tickets? Let's see.
Probably $30,000 a plate.
I want to say it's something ridiculous. Let's see. We can find out exactly. I don't even know how I got on this. Something popped up in there.
But you notice these people that are always bitching.
$30,000.
Wow, $30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people flew in there in their fucking private planes with their obnoxious carbon footprint while they're telling you got to fucking walk to work and tax the rich while she's got the best accountant in the world hiding her money in offshore accounts in a different fucking country to avoid paying taxes at all. I never see these people jump in line and say, look, here, I am writing a check. I am giving more than what I'm supposed to because I believe in this issue so much. I never see that. I hear them bitch about it. I hear them campaign about it, but I never see them get in line and say, look, you know, I'm supposed to pay $100,000 in taxes this year. I'm going to pay $200,000 because it's the right thing to do. It's always fuck the poor guy.
Yeah.
The further you bend, the deeper they shove it, man. It's just, ugh.
I don't even know what year this occurred. What I find striking here is I think that's her assistant.
Yeah.
You see this?
Yeah, and she's got to wear a mask.
Yeah, but she didn't have to, huh? That's interesting.
Why is that?
That's
you know?
interesting.
And you see that a lot, where everyone around this person's wearing a mask except
So it's like there really are two classes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Hunger Games, man. I've seen someone break it down like...
I've never seen Hunger Games.
Oh, God,
so
watch it. Dude, it'll make the hair on your neck stand up. You know, it's a good movie. I like the Hunger Games trilogy. It's good. But, man, you can look at that and look at the world today and go, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I find that a little interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This whole, yeah.
I mean, even with, you know, right now we're supposed to be celebrating the accomplishments of women this month because, you know, every month some said group gets a month of celebration except for the white man, the straight white man. He don't get shit. But this month it's about women and Hershey. I love it. Did you see they're calling for the boycott of Hershey now? Because they came
with
out
nuts
with
without nuts.
no, well that's Jeremy.
Oh,
chocolate.
was it? Okay, I saw something
Hershey,
in passing
Hershey
about
put
some.
5 people they promoted on their candy wrappers that are, you know, predominant people to highlight the accomplishments of great women, and one of them is a trans who, I mean, a couple years ago he was just a gay guy. And now all of a sudden he's like the spokesperson for all women, and they call it the Her-She candy bar. Which, you know, that's clever. I'll give them that. But so you put a man highlight, like you're shitting on women doing this. Like and people don't see that, you know, like go back and they, so I was watching Matt Welsh, and the digging in the background through this guy's social media, because nowadays you can't hide it, you know what I mean? Like everybody's got a paper trail now, and it was just a couple years ago he was just a gay guy. He actually was bragging about how he felt guilty because he was just a body taking space that really rightfully belonged to the other people, and you know, just apologetic for being a man-hating kind of shit. And then you can see, so he went from the bottom of the pyramid to the very top of it in a couple of years. And you can see where his motivation truly came from. It was power, influence, money. You know, now they pay him to fly around and speak. And, you know, is this guy truly believes that he was trapped? And, you know, where's the history of you complaining about this over the last 20 years of I'm trapped in the wrong body? Like, bullshit. This was about money. And now Hershey put him on a candy bar that's supposed to be for the accomplishments of women. So there's a big pushback. Well, Jeremy from the Daily Wire, they went out and they started making their own candy bars. Like, this guy's smart, man. He's on it. He is on fire. So they got two different candy bars that they in there, he, she, and him, his, and one's without nuts and one's with nuts. And they said, you know what, if you don't know which one to order with nuts, then you need to just eat Hershey candy bars. So and already like the orders are flying in, like they're running out of candy bars already. So not only was it just someone like pointing out something shitty happening in our culture, but they were willing to push back and do the work and give us an alternative, so that, you know, if you don't want to buy Hershey candy bars, but you want to make s'mores this summer over the campfire, use Jeremy's chocolate, I guess. I'm going to order some because I just thought it's funny, you know, like with nuts, you know.
I saw some advertisement, some clip of something about it. I didn't know where it came from or.
So that's, in a nutshell, my clever, that's what's going on. So yeah, you know, I gotta admit, like it kind of sickened me what Hershey did. And if we're gonna celebrate women, let's fucking celebrate the women, man. You know, like trans had a whole month, didn't they? Or they got one coming, isn't it in June? I think I can't remember. There's so many
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many different celebrations, but, you know, let women celebrate women, you know, but they can't, they back themselves in a corner now where, because there is no gender, like, you can't have a woman's month, right? Because gender is a social construct, or I don't know. The fucking world is upside down, man. We're getting ready to get nuked, and you know, the government's trying to ban TikTok, and the ACLU's out there bitching about, well, you know, that's against the First Amendment. And now all of a sudden they care about freedom of speech. Where were these pricks when they were shadow banning conservative voices on TikTok and shit like that?
Well, let's back up a couple years where the liberals were when Trump wanted to ban TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is a violation. He's overstepping his powers, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then Biden goes out and do it, and they go, yay!
So now
Make up
they're
your
bitching.
fucking mind.
Yeah, now they're bitching again. And
Either
it's like,
good or it's bad.
We're silencing China's voices, but the study showed that in China, TikTok is used very differently than what it is here, and that this is just a psyop. This is about weakening America.
If you wanted to do it, you couldn't do it any better by putting a guy in the White House that's got dementia and then assigning his whole cabinet based on diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, if somebody ever walked up to me at a job and said, hey, you know what? You're 5'10", you weigh 150 pounds, and you're straight white male, you're the right guy for the job. I say, fuck you. How about the hard work and the blood, sweat, and tears and the grind that I took to get here?
Right.
But you're going to give me a promotion based on how I look?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Anybody that takes that promotion for any of those jobs
part of the problem.
Should stand up and be like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
How about I get here because of my hard work?
Because I've earned it.
Not because I'm a square peg. Not because I'm a square peg that fits in your square hole.
Right. Speak it, brother.
Frickin' just blows my mind.
Agreed.
And the fact that these people are just like, yeah, I'll take your promotion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take this position because I fit into the narrative that you're trying to push.
The system is enslaving you, man.
It's almost like if you wanted this to fail and you could influence it, like you couldn't set it up any better.
Yeah. Yeah, step back and look at it, man. We are not in a good situation right now. And that I'm not even going to go down the rabbit hole of the nuclear holocaust that we're about ready to fucking.
You want to go down a rabbit hole?
You know, Iran's a couple of days away from developing the nuclear, enhancing their plutonium to the point of weapons grade. Like, finally, they're within a couple of days, they're going to be able to build a nuclear weapon. So, yeah, what's your rabbit hole?
You ready for this?
Sure. Let's go.
A doozy.
I gotta get the tinfoil out of the drawer and put it on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you might check this out.
China Telecom says the fire has been extinguished.
It's a building in China on fire.
By about 4:30 p.m. today,
tell me it doesn't pancake.
Our number 2 communications tower
and it just falls over.
Has been extinguished. No casualties have yet been discovered, and communications.
Where is my screen at?
Uh-oh.
Changsha is the capital of China's Hunan province. It has a population of about 10 million. These casualties have yet been discovered, and communications were on fire.
Look at that.
Workers rushing to evacuate the building.
Okay, you ready for this?
No, look at.
You ready? You ready?
Do it. I already know where you're going with it. I love it.
Building 7.
Building 7.
Look at a little fire burning.
Yeah, one floor.
There.
Building 7 was part of the Trade Center, guys. Oh yeah, look at that. One floor was burning and the whole building comes down.
No, I don't. No. I'm not insinuating anything here.
But
so
nothing
I
wrong
came across,
with asking questions.
I came across that video. I'm like, I knew you would like
every
that.
one of these buildings in the Trade Center collapsed the same exact way.
I don't know.
You know what?
I'm not saying anything there.
One pancake down, and then the other one tipped over, and it fell on Building 7, and 7 collapsed because of it. Like, You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but Building 7 wasn't hit with any debris. Why it was even on fire, and then it collapsed in the same exact way. Look, guys, controlled demolition.
I don't know.
Controlled demolition is my belief. Now, I'm just a normal peckerhead in the world. I'm not a professional, but that's what I believe.
I don't know. Someone else brought this up. I didn't know anything about it.
But man, you look at that building, the whole damn building is on fire, and it's
700 feet tall.
Wow.
It was located near
I don't know if it collapsed or not.
I mean, it might have eventually, but the Trade Center wasn't that engulfed in flames before it collapsed. Building 1 or 2. Tower 1 or 2. Look at that. Every goddamn floor in the building's on fire in this stuff. And you're telling me Chinese architecture is better than American? Really? What comes out of China that's built real great? Oh man!
Someone else brought this. I didn't, like I said, I'm not insinuating anything here.
I gotta do some.
I'm not insinuating anything here.
Oh, I love it.
Someone else brought this up. I didn't know anything about it, so I wanted to show you and see what you thought.
Yeah, I want to see when it falls, if it pancakes down like.
The comment sections in these YouTube videos have to be freaking lit. No fun intended.
Controlled demolition, guys.
Like I said,
I'm telling you, man. Like, you know what? I'm a firefighter and an EMT, and you know, 9/11. You know, all the people that lost their lives in those towers. Like, I was beating the war drum. I was first in line. You know, let's go kick some ass. We need to blow some people up for what they just did to us. But years later, I think that we really don't know the truth about September 11th, 2001. I just don't believe that we know the truth. Now, what happened, what it was, I don't know. You know, was it a bullshit inside job to justify a 20-year-long war with record profits to, you know, Halliburton, Boeing, and, you know, our vice president at the time, Dick Cheney, you know, I don't know.
There's all kinds of conspiracy theories.
Meet 3 people who took control of their money with a Chase secure banking account.
Conspiracy theories about 9/11, but I do believe we don't know the
Simple
truth.
tools. Control at hand.
There's more to it.
I thought you'd like that one though.
Yeah, that was good.
Like I said,
I'm gonna have to dig into that.
I have zero knowledge
now
of what happened
speaking
to that
my language,
building.
son. Yeah. The rabbit hole is deep.
Someone else, like I said, not my thoughts.
Yeah.
No, I just thought you'd find it interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm looking forward to doing some more digging into that. Wow.
Yeah, I thought you'd like it.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, man. Oh.
So, what do you think? You want to do a shorter video today?
Yeah, we'll cut it a little short. I think we talked on enough subjects. Yeah. All right. Remember, be kind to each other out there. See you guys.